We are live. Hi, Roman. Welcome to Venture with Grace.
Hey, Grace. Thank you for having me.
To start the show, I would love for the audience to get to know you a little bit more. So, you were head of project development at Nauman before you joined Yandex, which is like the Nebius original company that like it kind of like spun off. And Nebius right now it's like one of the fastest growing companies in the cloud space. Like, why don't we start with what is the core lessons that you've learned early on in your career that kind of shape you into who you are today?
Yeah, I think the back in Yandex time, when people ask what you're doing, like your grandmother asks you, like she cannot understand what is like in details, and my answer, artificial answer was, I'm doing great technological projects uh, from Russian engineers.
Mhm,
So I think like my key competence was being not super technical. Like I had the engineering background, but I quite quickly realized I'm not a great engineer.
mhm,
Uh, but I had the privilege to work with the great engineers on all my career. And it happened like until Nebios, it was mostly Russian
mhm,
speaking engineers. And I felt it's kind of something unique I can do. It's like I have the unique opportunity and unique skill set to extract technologies
mhm,
from engineers. Like, and I think this is the core. I think Nebios, in a way, inherited this engineers-focused kind of culture and engineers-focused approach. So it's not so important are you doing like B2C or B2B, like you work with the business customers or developers. Like all the time, what we do is deep engineering and like in a very fast evolving area. So I think like engineer is the king
mhm.
eventually.
For sure. I wonder, so like Yandex obviously was the Google of Russia, and obviously you guys are also, I guess, like the entire product component, including like, the Uber of Russia, the I don't know, like all these kind of like different subsectors, kind of I would assuming it's like equivalent to like a WeChat. So like why don't we talk about like when you guys like were working at the index era, like, what were some core, I guess, like projects that you have worked on that kind of like shape you into today
Yeah,
you're running Nebius AI
yeah,
in like across the globe?
yeah. So I think like speaking about myself in
Mhm,
Yandex, I was in the search, and then I was in the maps and navigation
mhm,
unit, and uh, like the search
mhm,
was the heart and the soul of the
mhm,
company, even though Yandex evolved to much more than just like search and advertisement business, and we had plenty of things around.
mhm,
But I think again, like search was the essence of this engineering culture,
mhm,
uh, and it was like AI product in pre-AI era. We didn't call it AI, so I think that actually shaped me. And then when I joined Maps, and I was a CEO of the business unit built around mapping technologies, it
mhm,
was a big privilege to actually like do a lot of like business experiments, because that time maps were like we understood that maps is a great like asset and very important technology, like enabling search,
mhm,
ride hailing,
mhm,
kind of e-commerce,
mhm,
food delivery, like all the things.
mhm,
But it was not a business. And like I came with a mission to create the business, and we
mhm,
didn't know like what to start with, and so we just started
mhm,
to experiment with different
mhm,
things. And that was a great experience for me, because like I think I learned a lot how to try things, how to test things, and like actually build the kind of around the core technology new bets. And I think it helps a lot now in and we'll speak a little later, I suppose, like the Nebius Nebius is a young company, but already kind of in evolution. Also, like there is a path, so it helps a lot.
I wonder, okay, so I really like what you said about like, you had to like recreate like a business out of all these like different tech functions. Maybe we could start with like, for the audience who maybe like just enter the chat, like, why don't we start with like Nebius like core function, and then how do you kind of like
Yeah,
creating the business case in here?
yeah. So like in the essence, what is Nebios? We're building AI infrastructure. AI infrastructure starts from physical infrastructure
Mhm,
and the platform that runs on top of that. So like essentially, like we build and operate data centers. We deploy hardware, compute, storage, networking, like make it all work together. And then we have the like cloud platform running on top of that to simplify kind of
mhm,
customer journey and like actually like help them to use this compute power.
mhm,
And this is the core of the business. We honestly do a lot of parallels with like search, for example. Like you have a search and then you have different verticals like nearby. So this is the core. This is the main business now that we are scaling, and it's like we all read and hear and about the infinite need in compute in this AI era, and so this is the foundation. Yeah.
mm. I wonder, so like as you mentioned, like there's like the physical infrastructure, and then there's like the to build like upgrade center, and then there's like a hardware compute and everything combined together. So like when you are building the entire services, I guess like when obviously it's like powering all the different like AI startups, so AI like companies. When you enter a new market like the US, like how do you think about which which subsegment to like go first? And um yeah, just like tell us more about like on
Yeah.
the
Well, it's it's
go to
it's funny enough that you asked about US like as a new market because
Mhm,
uh, like historically the
mhm,
core team was in Europe, and
mhm,
our first kind of piece of infrastructure was in Europe.
mhm,
But like maybe from first day or even earlier when we started this business, we understood like that the key market from demand perspective is the
mhm,
US, and that was just the matter of kind of when we build
mhm,
rather than if and so on.
mhm,
So we actually knew that like a we need to build like global business, and b this global business will be like we will actually kind of the US will be the key market,
mhm,
uh, at least for time being.
mhm,
And yeah, so like again, our business is quite in a way simple, in a
mhm,
way kind of complex. Simple in a way like you just it's real estate at the, like
mhm,
so you don't have business if you don't build. So you need just come and rent or build data centers. You need to bring hardware and you need to run it on physical layer, because like otherwise you just don't exist. So with US we started like our first data center project like more or less immediately after we started, and we launched it. Nebios in this current shape started in summer 2024. So uh, we started with one data center in Europe, in Finland, then we launched Paris, and then like the next project we were working was our first data center in US.
mhm,
And as an anecdote, I remember I stepped in my role of head of growth, like,
mhm,
and we interviewed our first US seller. We have
mhm,
zero US sellers, and we interviewed our first US seller, and like he asked, but you don't have capacity in US, like what will they sell? And we're like, don't worry, we'll bring it. And our deal with him was that he comes to Nebios because he believes that eventually we'll bring capacity in US. And it was like July 2024. So we launched our first data center early 2025 in Kansas City. And now we are, while we're speaking, like we're deploying racks and networking in our largest so far data center in New Jersey. And actually from this year and moving on, significant, like larger part of our physical footprint is in US. So, and it starts from the bricks.
For sure. I wonder, so like obviously you guys have like various different type of clients from like, robotic startup to like generative AI like model companies to like, just like different type of like AI companies. Why don't we talk about like when you hire the first US person, like how do you hire the first person? How do you select like the type of network that they could bring to the whole like product?
Yeah. So I think again, it's very much like we are enabler, right? So we just like we follow the people who really build stuff, so like to help them, and we see a very kind of clear evolution of types of the customers, and I would say we have again the privilege to have this visibility on what's going on in the entire market, like being this horizontal kind of layer under the builders. And the first wave was obviously model builders, like actually people who were focused on like OpenAI and Anthropics and Mistrals of the world. So the people who were focused on like building the foundational layer of AI, which is like frontier models and open source models and like niche models in different areas. Then we saw like the shift, and again, like there is a lot of training on the market, and like all the foundational models continues to be developed, and new players coming in the training world. But we see that in number of the customers, at least, the majority now in the building the products. So like all the great successes of we call it new ISVs or new SaaS companies, actually like AI native product builders, like Cursors of the world, like HeyGen, Synthesia, whomever, like actually people who found the product market fit with their AI kind of centric product, and they start like they less focusing on, at least when they start on foundational layer, they more focusing on the customer and their needs. So this is the second wave, and then the third wave is actually like enterprises, when like first digital companies, like we're proud to work with some of them, like Shopify, for example, or Cloudflare, or JetBrains. Like they actually not AI native, so they existed before AI, but AI can transform them on all the levels of what they do, like from their internal operation, how they sell, how they market, how they develop stuff, to like their essence of their product, like I don't know how search works, how recommendations work, how like whatever they do works. So this is the third wave, and then it's like going further to more classical enterprises, and again it's the borders are blurred, so it's not like black and white and like one era is shifting and then like nobody training, only inferencing, right? And then what is interesting is actually those companies who actually start from like product, when they succeed, they go down stack. So like that's like, this is the topic that like really like intrigues, like where, like for me, because it's not like from, it's a direct, like two direction, like all the players who started from like ground, like from foundational technologies, tr- they more and more like unlock concrete use cases and go there. And then like the most successful and sophisticated people who kind of found the niche, they start seeing kind of that they got unique data, that they know like better than anyone else, because they are on the frontier with the customer, what needed. They go down stack and they kind of start post-training models. They start building kind of comprehensive kind of systems from different models, like agentic systems. And then some of them go and build specialized models as well, like starting competing with like initially enablers of them. So it's all very kind of uniquely like vibrating and live market, like someone whom you ever like whom you didn't see as a customer becomes your customer. Someone that started being your kind of customer may be your competitor. And like it's funny. And like again, our preference is to be enabled. So we see us as a like we call it developer to developer company. So we actually don't go in like vertical solutions. We want to build the best kind of developers oriented kind of solutions platforms and help up others to build their amazing products. So that's exciting.
I wonder, so like obviously, like I don't know if it's okay to talk about like some of the competitor, but since you tweet about it, I'll have to brought up like a few of them, like let's say CoreWeave or RemPod, or the hyperscalers or like the hyperscale cloud providers like AWS, like Microsoft or like Google and stuff. So or like the specialized like AI cloud, including like like Lambda Labs or like Together AI or like
We can name
yeah,
it like
there's
all
like
the
400
hour.
of them.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
so how do you think about like the differentiation? Obviously, I feel like you guys came out, I want to say came out of nowhere, but like, you guys came out of like a really big company in a different country. But like, so you guys like came in really fast into the market. And obviously, I feel like you guys own like a lot of mind share, whether it's like from the marketing angle or like product angle. I guess like when you first entered here, and then you mentioned that like you first started talking to the first seller in like last year. So why don't we talk about like the strategy that you were thinking about to go
Yeah,
after the market? Like,
yeah.
and who to hire first? Like, do you hire the seller first? Do you hire the marketer first? Do you and then like since like a lot of the I think like from like a normie perspective, like slash like vibe coder, like I personally feel like a lot of people would lean towards like a traditional big brand from the US. But obviously a lot of like the AI native people would lean towards other competitors like a CoreWeave. But like how do you quickly like think about building out the infrastructure for your own company to succeed fast?
Yeah. Yeah. So first, I just want to make clear for our viewers, like our audience, that um, we had a pre-story of the company, like when we went through the like quite significant corporate kind of transition. So we didn't like went out, like the team had a regions in Yandex, like the core team, and we also inherited some of the assets, but we ended up like in 2024 by like selling all our Russian assets and cutting all the tiers and so on. And it was quite a like greenfield that we started with.
Mhm,
What we were happy with, to inherit like a very strong engineering team, and felt like actually the team on different layers, uh, the core team of Nebios are the people who actually build Yandex infrastructure, Yandex physical infrastructure, like we had 20 data centers and so on. And these are the people who actually did it, like from in the last like 25 years. And they know how to build and scale. Then the second layer we've got are the people who actually build the cloud, like, and they know what does it mean to build like hyperscaler grade experience in cloud from the ground up. And then we also had quite a strong team of AI like practitioners, like actually a research team that could look at all that what we built with the eyes of our customers, which was like priceless, especially at the beginning, like when like you need someone who actually knows what is the typical kind of expectations and like the flow of experimenting and the like deploy, like what is the developer experience you want to bring and so on and so forth. So that was like the luck. We started as a 500 people with all this expertise, and I don't think that anyone from the let's call it neo-cloud world had the privilege to start with such a strong software engineering team from the day one. So that was the differentiator. The second differentiator was we were also kind of quite interesting in a financial on the financial front because we had cash. As simple as that. So we started with like $2.5 billion dollars on our account, and that actually gave us an opportunity to kind of start the business in a different way than some of our like peers. Why? Because we could play this kind of cloud game from day one. So what I mean, like we could, and that was a joke, that like normal kind of order for most of the people on the market is raise, deploy, actually sell, raise, deploy. So you find the customer, you go to the bank, you borrow money, you deploy kind of GPUs, and you serve your customer. Because you actually it's a very expensive game, right? So you cannot kind of, if you are a startup, you don't have cash, so you need customer, then you need to raise and then like to deploy. What we could do from day one, we could actually deploy, then sell. So we did it in a way like hyperscalers do it. So we speculatively deployed kind of capacity because we knew demand will be there. We hope demand will be there, and like then we could serve our customers. And what it gave to us the opportunity to be much more flexible in what we can suggest to our customers. We could we were not necessarily kind of tired with like the need to sign the contracts that will be bankable. So we could serve like smaller customers. We could serve them with the more flexible terms, and that was kind of like opposite to the market game in a way that we did. So that was like two main differentiators, like in a setting. But then, like from the strategy perspective, again, we always knew that we want to be in the product-driven game. We don't want to be like commodity infrastructure, and we always like from the day one we doubled down on like building the platform. So we invested a lot to have like cloud and not just deploy clusters and serve like people with. And it gave us like maybe it was a little bit slower start, like and it's quite expensive, like you need to have like 300 software engineers working like hard to deliver it. But what we got like out of that, so we have quite a good like experience for our customers. We have a flexibility to serve the different types of customers, and we can move fast. Our customers can move fast with us, and that created kind of the edge in the product. And moving forward, we see our strategy actually, and I will respond to kind of competition question, but moving forward, we see our strategy in like building kind of more comprehensive software offering on top of this kind of foundational infrastructure we like built in parallel to serve different types of customers, less sophisticated like AI customers, and the most important to be ready to work with enterprises, because again, like eventually we believe that majority of our revenue should come from like not from the startups, but from like the businesses with established processes that extract value out of AI, and they will need more than just pure infrastructure. They will need like they will need the product, they will need all the security stack, they will need tooling for their teams, they will need integrations, they will need platforms of the higher level to build agentic systems and so on and so forth. That's very key. And yeah, from competition perspective, I just tweeted to like today. I think that like all the competition between like neo clouds, like us, CoreWeave, Lambdas, it's not a real competition. Like in reality, we all compete for existing with hyperscale, like with the large ecosystems, right? Because like the market is big enough for a lot of like for many players, more than one player. The question, will we be efficient enough and sophisticated enough to build the product that will be in use in 3-5 years from now, when the market will shift from, again, startups and kind of hyperscale, like super labs that just need you to empower their growth in a pace they need, to the normal business, to the people who kind of doing their like applying AI in their like real businesses to serve the next winners of like AI in AI product era and so on and so forth. So like this is the real question, and in this race, like AWS, GCP, Azure are the real kind of competition. We need to justify us, like we need to build strong enough product and enough scale and sustainable economics to be there. So this is the real thing, and in a way, like now we all help each other, because like we all work together to show that there is alternative to working with like all the known for the last 2 decades names, like that when you go to AI, you can get more for cheaper and not less for cheaper. Like when you go and work with the specialized providers who know the stuff and who are not bring all the legacy of like classic, like general purpose clouds with you. And yeah, I think in a way, like the work that CoreWeaves does, that like other players doing, it helps us. It helps to define the niche, to define the product category of this kind of specialized infrastructure cloud providers that in 3-5 years from now, if exist, then will kind of succeed. And this is the game.
As you mentioned, like I feel like what is the core difference between like general purpose cloud versus neo cloud?
I think the main difference actually in the formula, like it's AI specialized. So like every every service we do, every byte we kind of write and ship in production is built and designed like to serve these types of workloads. So we don't try to generalize things. We cannot run all types of workloads, but what we do is we make sure that like our customers get maximum from what they get, like what they can from like quite expensive infrastructure they pay for. And the market is so fast, like in like just obvious example that NVIDIA releases new chips every year, actually even faster, and bring it online, make it work, adopt the stack, make sure that like inference is working, training is working, bring the specialized storage solutions that work together. I just jumped off from the call with our partner in the storage, like high performance storage, where we discussed how like the inference of future looks like, and it's like you need to do it like on a speed of light, like to follow your customers, and this is a lucky time for people like us. I mean, like the new products, the new players, because you can stand out by the execution, by the focus, by just laser focus on like what kind of happening. And honestly, like it's easier to do when you're smaller, when you're faster, when your decision making process is faster, and you just do what needed. And I think that again, the long term game is to sustain, like to keep this kind of to keep this advantage, because when the market is growing so fast and changing so fast, there are plenty of opportunities. And the question, like in 3-5 years from now, like how you become strong and like how you create enough of value, how you make a product sticky enough for the customer that even when your competitor, your stronger competitor, your slower competitor maybe brings kind of the level of offering that that like needed, they still stay with you because they see the value. How you kind of find the right, the right type of our new CRO calls it like premium workloads, where people like so motivated to get the best that they don't go to commodity, like to the default solution. Then they really want to find the best. So this is like the check. In a sense, growing on a fast growing market and a fast changing market, it's easy. I mean, like, you know what I mean? It's a lot of execution, but there are a lot of opportunities, and that's our chance today. And our customers hopefully benefit out of that.
So I want to maybe like touch up on like the revenue side of things. Like, so one of the core revenue model is like AI infrastructure as a service, and there's like the full stack AI platform. So I guess like I think like online it says like 66% of the primary service is just like the cloud infrastructure business. And I wonder, so I guess like how do you think about pricing your service compared to competitive companies? And how do you incentivize people to, obviously I feel like this is like such a tools and shovel business. Like when you build, like you mentioned, it's kind of like a virtual real estate or like general real estate. So like when you build on top of something, like it's very hard to like migrate or move. But I think like for people to build a business on top of Nebius, like it have to be like a company that's like just like recently born and then fast growing. other than maybe like I'm sure there is some sort of like, maybe part of the Microsoft business that's built here, or like I by Microsoft I mean like big companies, right? So like, how do you think about acquiring people for the like, first of all, like pricing side of things, like how do you price your product and services, and then maybe we'll go from there.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I think again, this question is like you can break it down into your
Mhm,
cost structure and how you kind of actually create the product that efficient, and then like how you price. And I think from the cost structure perspective, the fact that we went this full stack approach, so we actually control the supply chain. We on the largest capacity, we build our own data centers, or at least we kind of run this in a build to suit mode, which more efficient. Then we are building the hardware layer.
mhm,
So we actually producing ourselves
mhm,
servers and racks. So it also let us kind of be more flexible, but b like control the cost.
mhm,
And then on the platform layer, we do a lot of efforts to actually in our again like full stack control approach,
mhm,
make sure that every piece is working efficiently. We don't lose like this water flow of
mhm,
where you can lose your capacity and efficiency. So this is one. So we believe that we are well positioned to have one of the best cost structure in the market, like close or similar to what hyperscalers have. And then the second thing is actually how you create the value that customers are ready to pay for. And it's not a secret that this market is very price obsessed. Like
mhm,
uh, uh, we I was kidding that like the most frequent questions we got, like how much GPUs you have and how much
mhm,
GPU hour cost.
mhm,
Uh, what we try to do is actually create like much more product value around just pure GPU hours.
mhm,
Uh, what we also do is we uh, uh, use the flexibility of the platform to provide to our customers different ways to kind of consume.
mhm,
I mean, from tariffs kind of
mhm,
strategy, we have like classical reserve contracts, but we also have pay as you go when you can really your price point is higher, but then you can really pay for only what you use, and it's not doable with a fair like software layer there. And we also just launched, for example, preemptible compute, like spot
mhm,
instances, when it's much cheaper than like any street price you can get anywhere, but then like compute is not guaranteed, and it feeds to a lot of like workloads, and people really benefit out of that. So we provide the flexibility of how people can consume, and not optimize only one parameter of like GPU hour, but
mhm,
more. And then what is probably even more important, we are developing the models of like consuming the like product models of consuming. So again, we started with the GPU rent kind of model, but
mhm,
now we also introduced our inference platform, when you can use like talk per token and like pre-hosted models running, and you can use APIs for fine tuning, and in this model, like the discussion shifted from like GPU
mhm,
hours to like one layer up. And
mhm,
also there are some nice examples of the workloads like batch inference, when like a lot of data needed to be processed and you don't have a strict kind of real-time SLAs.
mhm,
And this is the example of something that we can do very efficiently, like orchestrating across our like fleet. And so like moving forward, we see a lot of work to be done in like packaging compute in a form that like gives our customers more flexibility to use it and us more flexibility to kind of orchestrate it to make it more efficient, and B, like make additional services that like not necessarily we even need to price them separately, but they create much more value. And then like it's not anymore like 10 cents optimization game. It's like your experience, and experience with this like talent angry games is something that like if you paid whatever 100 million for a researcher, you want them not to lose time for 10 cents of compute, right? So like experience is quite important. So we are working to make sure that our customers have the best experience and they will not be seduced for like 10% of the cost somewhere else.
What is your, I guess, like your in for these like bigger companies who are like you said, like 100 million researcher vibe companies? Like, what is the core strategy for that? So obviously there is like companies that are also in-house building the infrastructure themselves. But obviously, like not everybody will spend the most amount of time. Like obviously, you guys are like a world-class engineering group that kind of like building this function. So I guess like how do you target these like people who will spend the most amount of dollars?
Yeah. So we like our base, but that's what we communicate constantly. Our like baseline business model that we speak in the earning calls about and so on. It's not built on the like assumption that we sign these like multi-billion contracts with frontier labs and hyperscalers. We consider it as a dedicated like effort or business line, if you want, because it's quite different type of the operations. Also, like they don't need your software stack. They don't need like most of the services you actually provide. They need to grow, and they need help to grow, and they need like they need optimized infrastructure that they can rely on and grow their speed. So to feed their needs, if you saw our like key announcements in the earning calls last week, by chance, we announced that we're accelerating our like data center footprint expansion, and we'll have 200 megawatt connected power this year, and we'll have up to 1 gigawatt connected power next year. Connected power means we can deploy GPUs and run. So it's like it's not theoretical. So if someone will need that scale of partner, we prepared to be there, and this is the main effort actually. So I think that like what we do, and we like talk with people, I think that like you do two things. You create your reputation, like the trust. You need like to justify that your technology is there, that you have like professional people, that you have satisfied customers. And then the second component is you need to show that you can grow in the scale that like solve their problems. And their problems are gigawatt problems. And so that's where we hitting. And I think that we are well prepared now to work with the largest customers.
I love that. So like I guess like when you are thinking about, I guess like the growth side of things, like do you feel like you would segment, let's say, for example, the infrastructure that's like primarily focusing on the bigger companies, the mid-market, and then the startup all at once? Or would you say like the emphasis would be, let's go after the biggest
Yeah,
players in the world. Like
yeah,
let's say we just land two players,
yeah.
but they're Meta and something else. So how do you think about that?
Yeah, so we are really trying to sit on all the chairs,
Mhm,
and it will be a challenge for the company, obviously, like the champagne problems, but still, because again, it's quite a different type of kind of operations in the business.
mhm,
We actually define the market for ourselves. Like it's not unique. Like most of the people speaking this language, I believe.
mhm,
Like we define it in like four categories. Let's say AI native like
mhm,
companies. Then the the very special subcategory of this kind of AI native world are super labs and hyperscalers like Metas and OpenAIs and Anthropic of the world. And then the third is enterprises like non-AI native, like businesses with revenue, not VC backed, established, and applying AI against their like real processes. And then the fourth category is actually sovereign type of things. So
mhm,
like a lot of discussions around such projects. So we define it like, and we started like as many players from AI native world because it's the fastest moving. It's a great kind of founders who paying you for training you. So it's like really like exciting opportunity to work with them, learn from them, and like move
mhm,
their speed. And we want to continue being kind of very much injected in this sector. And we put a lot of efforts to kind of be developer friendly. We run the self-service kind of that let any small uh, team to onboard, like swipe the credit and run like few GPUs if needed. And then we like we maturing and evolving product to serve enterprises. And this is our like main kind of uh, directionally move. In parallel, we are working to be ready and to be relevant for the largest customers because you cannot ignore them. And again, we believe that long term, our business, like our, if you want, like our market cap will be very much dependent on how successful we are with the enterprises. But this is the game of scale, and in the
mhm,
game of scale you cannot you just cannot afford to not leading to work with these like largest customers of your market. And
mhm,
so you I mean you cannot ignore it, but
mhm,
we believe that like the real value we can create through the product is important, and we want to be like product company. We want to serve we want to be diversified portfolio of the customers. We want to build up stack. We want to
mhm.
provide modern like commodity infrastructure, and that's where that's where like a lot of efforts going in the company. Like I I hope, believe this is the goal. I don't know what the right verb here.
Mhm.
Like we need to keep it, and this is the DNA of the company. Like to be the product driven.
I wonder, so like, what does a sales motion kind of look like to enter these like big corporation? Obviously, I feel like as a founder myself, like selling every day, it's like you have to land the big logo at the beginning to so like everyone can trust you. But on the other hand, to land the big logo, you have to land some sort of things to earn people's like trust. And like, I'm not talking about like, let's say if you're a startup, a lot of people just buy from you, like they trust you, or like you built some sort of like personal credit, but this is like billions of dollars
Sure.
industry. So like to get like sales from like
Yeah.
a, you know, like a big company that you mentioned, like a Anthropic or something, like it's multi stage sales motion as like, you know, I guess like the C level have to sell the C level, and then the engineer have to sell the engineer, kind of like combined motion. How do you think about the go to market for to kind of like acquire these like major logos?
Yeah, and again, like don't want to go to the very details, like
Yeah, yeah. Maybe
and
just like the high level thinking.
overshare here, like, but
Mhm.
in general, I believe, I truly believe, and it sounds like a nice word, but I truly believe that this is the market of very much like reputation, like the reputation, like in technological reputation, and like execution and reputation driven. So the best thing you can do is
Mhm,
actually to show the market that you can deliver,
mhm,
like, and then like we're lucky to be in the market of high demand.
mhm,
So it's not the question of like how to convince people that you like that what you sell is value. They know. The tricky question is they will depend on you. They will put like billions, as you said, if you lucky to you. So and I, I mean, people want to work with those who deliver. People
mhm,
want to work with those who move fast. People want to work with those who real kind of, who like who have this foundation, and that's why. And by the way, it's great experience. Like
mhm,
our buyers, engineers.
mhm,
So it's like it's a luck that even in those large contracts you work with, like you don't work with procurement with the corporate procurement, like
mhm,
you work with engineers. So
mhm,
they want to be direct to the point. They want to see the essence of the things. They know what questions to ask. And I mean, I think that, like, at the end of the day, the best thing you can do is to show you can deliver, to show you understand what they need, and there are a lot of ways to how to do it. You work with other customers, you do like partnerships, you do case studies, you do benchmarking. Like there are people now on the market who are doing like third party kind of benchmarking work and help like to navigate and see who exists and who provides what. So I mean, nothing to say more, to be honest. Like
mhm,
just be bullish and deliver. That's
mhm.
that's kind of the only recipe I know.
I totally agree with you. I feel like the kind of like bring the outcome or actually deliver the services or like the promise is like a core thing as like, if you're selling to engineers, like a lot of people are the no bullshit approach. Like everyone's like trying to like just like test the product and then see if it work. When you're thinking about building out the team in the US, you guys hired the first people last year, and then obviously I feel like you guys are very I mean, I'm very fortunate to like work with some of the people on your team, and like obviously they're killers. Like I feel like you guys hire the best talents. So how do you think about the hiring side of things and then building out the um important like people who is like in charge of these like
Yeah,
skilling process?
yeah. So I think we are lucky to have the team we have, and
Mhm,
I'm 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 like sincerely like grateful to like some of the folks who joined us even before it became obvious that we kind of real with
mhm,
all this like complicated pre-story of the company and so
mhm,
on. Some people from Europe with some like past and so on.
mhm,
But now I think again, like the market starts seeing us delivering, and it start works like like a firewheel. Like you have a good people, they attract the best people, and so on. And I mean, again, I think that we were lucky to have our like foundational team very much kind of this get shit done approach, like very kind of focused on doing things. Like we try to find doers. We all were in the fields. Like there was no excuse, like you take a calls, you sell, you go to the Slack, you talk with your customers, you make sure you deliver, you wake up the engineer in the night if something not working. So like this is type of like the call it culture. I don't like the culture word, but call it like behavior like framework template. And yeah, I hope we'll keep it. I mean, this is something that like I think this is something like I enjoy. So like you need to approach every deal like it's life and death situation. You need to approach every customer problem like if you don't solve it immediately, the customer will leave. And this is the way. I mean, like we're obviously not ideal, and like we did a lot of mistakes, and we continue to do a lot of mistakes, and I need to apologize to our customers that like our mistakes like could be quite like not pleasant for them, but I think so far we were like quite successful of keeping this kind of behavior of this is the opportunity of the life, and we just like need to execute. Otherwise, like, who cares?
I wonder maybe I wanna be mindful of the time. Maybe we'll do one real question and then 1 minute fire on. So how do you think about the like future of like what is like some trends that you're seeing in the space that you're currently excited about? Since a lot of our listeners are like founders and investors, like what are something that you are seeing in the market that like people should really pay attention to? Or yeah.
No, I think that like I just thought today morning I was reading kind of some threads around GPT-5, and like something came in my mind that it's so exciting, to be honest, that people complain that like the new model released and it's like not that brilliant. It just like less than 3 years from we've got this GPT-3 aha moment, and we already get used to that like, oh, it's just like it's not like AGI still. Like, I mean, it's moving so fast. And I think this is the most kind of this is the most exciting for me, that it starts to routinize, like in a way that this is just the part of our like lives and technology stack that we can use. And I think that the most exciting thing that we see this in the real kind of applications. I mean, like what's happening now is it's really becomes the products. And I mean, like the foundational technology is there, and they will improve, and like only God knows where we'll be in a few years from now. But even now we see it's good enough to create like pivotal value in so many areas, and so many founders, so many teams now working to bring it to life. So many like smart people in the enterprises are picking the right kind of workflows to apply it, and like their customers start seeing result out of that. It's just like, we are in the middle of something that like again, once in a generation. So what can be more exciting?
I love that. On that note, I want to end with a quick fire round for you. What's your favorite book?
My favorite book. A long time ago, I read the book about how you kind of raise your kids, and it was the best book for my work, because my like relations with engineers sometimes were looking like growing the kids, and like relations with the young adults So I think that was maybe not the favorite, but the most useful in my career book.
Who would you invite to your dinner party?
Sorry, say again.
Who would you invite to your dinner party?
Whom would I invite to my dinner party? From people who are alive?
It's your party.
Okay, then my family.
Mm,
I like to have dinner with my family.
love that.
It's a privilege.
Who made the biggest impact in your career?
Like our founder and CEO, Arkady, that actually is the best founder I had the privilege to know.
Where can we find you outside of work?
Sorry, say again.
Where can we find you outside of work?
Sorry. Jogging or running on Tel Aviv sidewalk on the beach.
Oh my God, love that. Well, Roman, thank you so much for coming on the show today. I would say this is like one of the most popular episode. I'm not very surprised, but still, like, it's like a very privilege to like chat with you.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you for the opportunity to speak from the heart.
Thank you. Let me quickly end stream. 1 second.